When robbers try to invade this guy's house, he turns his neighborhood into a war zone. Wait till you hear who he blames. Plus, some of the tiniest victims in the war on Hamas finally get help, while Uncle Joe could clearly use some himself. Right now on Notice News. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Springer and this is Notice News, your daily update on all the news you need to know. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell to stay updated. Our first story today, this is Ricci, a wealthy business owner and father who lives with his family in LA. One night, as he was about to walk in his front door, this happened. Two masked gunmen jumped over the wall of his house and ran up behind him and tried to grab him. But that's when Ricci pulls out his own gun and opens fire on the would-be intruders. A gun battle erupts right in the middle of a residential neighborhood as the two intruders scramble for safety and Ricci chases after them. Thankfully, nobody was physically hurt. He told local TV he wanted to protect his baby, his wife, and his nanny. He has a nanny? What the does this guy do? This all happened about a week ago, but now Vince, who at the time this happened wouldn't appear on camera for local media because it might somehow interfere with the police investigation, has surfaced in a new propaganda video from the National Riffle Association. In a short video that would make Goebbels proud, complete with brooding piano music and videos of other scary attacks, Ricci recounts the events of that night and drops this bombshell.
As a result of that night, the California government has temporarily suspended my ability to conceal-carry.
Yeah, because you started a gun battle in the middle of a neighborhood. He goes on.
I used to walk in this house, it's my beautiful house that I built for my family, and now I walk into a war zone.
Jesus Christ, there is a lot to unpack here. But first, we'll start with the obvious. It wouldn't be a war zone if there weren't so many guns in this country. Also, look at this house behind him. This guy is loaded. And because, as Elon Musk has proved, you don't need to be smart to be rich, our friend here fundamentally doesn't understand what causes crimes like this. The #1 driver of violent crime is poverty. And right now, over 140 million Americans live in poverty or are one emergency away from financial ruin, almost half the entire country. Experts say that until every person in our country has their basic needs met, food on the table, access to health care, and a living wage, we have no chance of ending crimes like these. Meanwhile, some of the smallest victims in Israel's war on Hamas are finally getting some help. Over the past couple of days, the Israelis allowed the UN, in conjunction with the Red Crescent, that's the Arab version of the Red Cross, to evacuate 31 premature babies from the Al-Shifa hospital in the north to another hospital in the south of Gaza. The UN said the baby's health was rapidly deteriorating though. As the AP reports, the hospital was forced to make formula from contaminated water. Everything about this situation is shocking. So far, in retaliation for the Hamas terrorist attack on October 7th, Israeli airstrikes and subsequent ground invasion has killed 13,000 people, including 5,600 children, and forced 1.7 million Gazans from their home. A shocking statistic, given that only 2.3 million people live there. Meanwhile, President Biden is still refusing to call for a ceasefire, even though polling proves that a majority of Americans want one. Instead, our commander-in-chief is vowing to send billions of dollars more of our tax money to Israel in, quote, aid, which critics have denounced as another big handout to the defense industry. All right, let's get a timer going for 60-second headlines. So, this happened while pardoning a turkey at the White House this week, which is a yearly tradition. President Biden said this.
You could say even this harder than getting a ticket to the Renaissance tour or Brittney's tour. She's down in, it's kind of warm in Brazil right now.
Jesus Christ, this is the guy who's going to save us from fascism. Uncle Joe apparently mixed up Taylor Swift and Brittney Spears, who's been in the news lately but hasn't been on tour since 2018. As we observe Trans Remembrance Day, the Human Rights Campaign says at least 33 transgender or gender non-conforming people have been murdered this year in our country, and over 500 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced in state legislatures this year, many targeting trans people. A new report from Oxfam has found that the world's richest 1% are responsible for the same amount of carbon emissions as the bottom 60%. And here's an odd story. Fighter fires in Wisconsin helped a woman find her lost pet snake in her car? What the f? Apparently, the pet snake had gotten loose and slithered up the passenger seat. Get a new car? Just get a new car. F it, burn it, get a new car. That's it for today. If you want to find out more about something I covered, links to sources in the references and the description down below. That's kind of a reference to John Green if you get it. Make sure to like and subscribe to get notice news here on YouTube, and to go follow us on Snapchat and TikTok. I'll see you back here next week.